Sufferable leftists reaping what he sowed, complaining that the industry is now segregating roles by race, which he pushed for. But then when he finds out that it wouldn't always benefit him, suddenly, no, 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 no. I should be able to play every role, but other people should not be able to play. That doesn't seem fair. It's like, yeah, you're not advocating. I will say for the Asians, they're in this interesting position now with a lot of other stuff that's going on where they're realizing that they don't have that POC privilege that they thought they had. They thought they were up at the top of the hierarchy. They thought all POCs were, I guess, loosely at the top of one hierarchy, and European Americans were at the bottom. And they don't understand that the other POCs have a hierarchy, and the Asians are very close to where the European Americans are. And they're learning that now in various ways. So, Asian voice actor suffers consequences of identity politics that he pushed and promoted. Oh no! What happened? And this soy boy, if you read his Twitter, he's insufferable. As he's got like 800,000 followers, but then he puts out tweets and there's just like no interaction on any of these kind of tweets. That's kind of, there should be a name for those kind of people. It's like, where they're known names, but their tweets don't get any interaction, where there should be a way to describe that. It's kind of like an AstroTurf thing, where their position gets them recognition, but they're such a boring person that they're just kind of like a variable. They're just a temporary variable fitting this position. Anyway, so what happened is this soy boy pushed for identitarian-based voice actors when he does his interview on YouTube, where Asians play Asians, I guess, and black, white, whatever. Then he noticed that when he went out for these roles, he was only offered the Asian roles, which is what exactly he promoted, and he wasn't allowed to try out for the European roles. So he says, I got an audition cartoon. I was only sent the Asian characters, and they said, hey, why can't I try out for all these other characters? So those characters are for European American actors. I guess any person who vaguely, I don't know what you want to call them, which is what he wanted. He said authenticity, right? Which means racial purity tests. And you go, this is kind of weird because it's a voice actor. You don't need to actually see their face or their body, so you kind of think any voice actor should be able to apply for any role. It's like, well, no. That's not cultural Bolshevism. Cultural Bolshevism means they have to grow the tall grass. They have to foment as much discord as possible so people are distracted by these cultural fighting issues, so the puppet masters can do whatever they want to do. It's the snakes in the tall grass theory. And it's so easy to manipulate people with these kind of always throwing red herrings or always throwing oxygen in on fights. It's kind of interesting because I think in 2013 when they did the Occupy Wall Street and the financial sector, the puppet masters saw that they were getting a spotlight shined on them, even if it was kind of done by very dumb people. They didn't like that at all, so they go, oh, this class warfare has to end, so what do we promote now? Race warfare. Divisions based on this kind of stuff, instead of like, oh yeah, so the white plumber is actually your oppressor and not the billionaire guy who's working in the bank industry. Yeah, by all means, go march through an upper middle class neighborhood, BLM and Antifa. Don't go to these gated communities where the bankers live. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. What happened to destroying the 1%? No. We're going to focus on like the 3 to 5%. That doesn't make any sense. It makes sense if you're controlled, which is what happened, I think, started in 2013. It's fascinating to see how easily people are manipulated. Hey, left-wingers who were doing all this class warfare stuff, how did you get manipulated? Well, somebody drove up to me in a 7 Series BMW, and they had a briefcase full of cash. And that's it? You see this new home? Oh, that's all it takes? Yeah, that's all it takes. In his soy boy brain, he thinks he should be able to take all the roles, white, black, Asian, Latin, and I guess the various Asian groups, which is what he vaguely promoted. But everyone else has to stay in their lane. How is that fair? I don't know. In their world, this is like, all this stuff is nonsense. But it's when you build this house of cards on sand, and you're trying to suddenly apply logic to it, it all collapses because none of it's based on logic. You're like, oh, hey, it's voice actors. Just have blind auditions. And it's funny, they did that with classical music, what I would call the symphony orchestras. They go, yeah, our auditions are blind. Anyone just sends in a piece of music and it's just a number instead of a name, and we just pick the best. And they go, but you're picking all white people. But it's just a number. It's just the best people are being chosen for the symphony orchestra. It's like, no, no, no. We have to have affirmative action. So you want to get worse people based on identity politics? Yes, that's what they believe. Welcome to cultural Bolshevism. So what happened is somebody writes a cartoon, and if they write a cartoon and say they make it mostly just Asian free, so this guy says he thinks he should be able to take roles away from European voice actors. How is that fair? It's obviously not. Because he thinks it's not fair that somebody wrote a cartoon with not enough Asians in it so that he should be able to play every role and put the European actors out of work instead of like, why don't you just write your own cartoon and make it all obese Asians if that's really what you want. He really seems to have a lot of anti-white racism in his fat-filled heart. So in his mind, how Asian does a person have to be to play an Asian role? If I'm 1/16th Korean, should I be up for the Korean roles just like he is? He'd probably look at that and like, that's you need to have like a blood test for the that's these people are just the worst people on earth. Could a Japanese play a Korean role? I don't think that'd go over well. And can mixed race people just play any role they wish, no matter how small, how minor the race is? So in his mind, it has to benefit him and perhaps his tribe because he seems like honestly a borderline personality disorder. Could Elizabeth Warren play an Indian role because she has high cheekbones and everyone knows American Indians? That's like, but Elizabeth Warren, you don't actually have any Indian DNA. That's okay. I have high cheekbones and I got a position at a college and the left loves Elizabeth Warren. They want her to run for president. It's like, but she took a college position away from an actual American Indian, which, hey, don't get me wrong, affirmative action is racist in the first place, but that's what I mean when I talk about house of cards built on sand. So can an Irish play Japanese if he identifies as Japanese? And here's the thing: if a man can be a woman, then all the rules are off the table because that's the most ridiculous. Because sex is like what, 500 million years old, where race is in the tens of thousands of years, maybe even the hundreds of thousands, or the millions of years. I don't know when those divisions started, but sex is, we're talking about 500 million, hundreds of millions of years. That's a hard binary between the sexes. So like, no, men can be women. Men can be women. Like, well, no, they can't. But if your foundation is men can be women, then I'm Japanese, I can play an Irish role. Because that's logically more logical than a man saying he's a woman. Anyway, at no point does our obese, woke, anti-white friend advocate for just, blind voice auditions, which would be the logical way to go. Anyone can play any role if you can do the voice, because it's the voice. You don't need to see their face, right? No, that's not how cultural Bolshevism works. Yeah, I kind of am cluing in on how cultural Bolshevism works, and you seem like one of the useful idiots, but it's not all going your way, so you're getting a little upset about that. So he keeps pushing this cultural Bolshevism, but when it applies to him, he cries his soy tears. And reading this guy's Twitter, he really comes across as just a total whining pussy. And he's got a bunch of cats, which is not a good sign if you're a guy. You can have cats, you can like cats, you can be a cat person, but you just can't talk about them, and you can't put your little chubby face next to your cats in your little icon thing. It's gross, dude. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I don't know if I can do a politically correct version of this thing, because I just want to say things and do voice impersonations. But those days of YouTube, like do a little parody on his name, those days of YouTube are long gone, unfortunately. The fun days of YouTube. Oh, and then he says this copium during his interview, which is just the level of the cognitive dissonance this guy has to believe in to function in his world, where it's poor me, where I'm discriminated against because I'm Asian. White people are the most discriminated people in America. That's what affirmative action is. It's literal discrimination against European Americans. And this guy is out of his world if he thinks there'd be more opportunities to him if he was of European origin and not Korean origin. That's insane. And you only say that from a place of Asian privilege. Dare I say Asian supremacy? Yeah, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you think this. God, you're just all chin and neck. That's such a fat face where your body is this tiny little body. It's bizarre. If you start storing fat in your face, you gotta just drop the carbs, dude. Just please start eating less. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode. Ooh. Oop, 3 seconds left. Should I stall to get it to 10 seconds? Yeah, I guess I did.